related to the journey of the self-love journey, self-love exodus, our healing journey. And the title for today is What You Perceive, You Receive, inspired from this shirt. Perspective is everything.
It's everything.
And as we hold workshops, we hold self-love. We do the meditate and conversate sessions every week. I mean, we hear how people perceive all the time. Mm-hmm. We hear others express things all the time. And it's like, oh, that is such your reality right now, And when we can be aware of this area in our lives, it could be a major game changer for the foreseeable future of your life. Okay. And so, but yeah, we're going to be diving into that, grabbing our own personal experiences or our thoughts, what's coming up for us. And if you've been enjoying watching us, just know that we will be live every Saturday, 11 a.m. We're here to hold a safe space always and to share about topics that we believe don't get talked about enough.
And pretty soon we're going to be moving our virtual meditation to Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. so that more people can join us.
Yes, so we'll have both. We have meditate, conversate, and live, and you can choose which one you would like to participate in. So yeah, without further ado, how is this so real for you, Hallie? Like what you perceive is what you will be receiving from the universe, from God, from this planet, from life. Like how has been so true for you. Yeah, so real.
Well, I love the way that you said that. We interact with a lot of different people every week in a processing setting. And so we're always hearing, while we're processing people's belief systems mm-hmm. being reflected. And then we're also witnessing their realities as well, mm-hmm. and how they are complete mirror reflections of each other.
Yes.
And I know that whenever I replace basically like a belief that doesn't serve me with one that empowers me, my life changes, my reality changes,
Mm-hmm.
And so based on that, like it's so easy to want to try and solve our lives out here and to want to figure things out here and to want to figure out like what changes out here need to be made in order for our lives to feel happier and more peaceful and safer and truer,
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing it out there and you haven't undone the belief systems that are dictating everything about your reality, then you're just going to keep experiencing the same things
mm-hmm.
in the new circumstances.
Yeah.
So yeah, the work is really in the perception.
Mm.
And, it's really cool. If you think about, I know personally for me, the people that have like the highest vibration, the people that are the most fun to be around, the people who are the most expansive to be around, the people who are the most loving to be around, have really high frequency perceptions as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They really believe in the goodness of the universe. They really believe in the like limitless of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just so cool that like we can change
mm-hmm.
our whole life through how we think about it.
Oh yes, an example popped up real quick is about my dad. We always share, and something came up with like my dad, like smoking cigarettes since he was like 15. And you were like, I'm surprised he's still alive. I'm like, yeah. And then boom, his belief is that he is a lucky ass person. Like he's so lucky. And however that he got this like belief system in, whether it's from like cultural, what's it called, superstitions or whatnot. Like, oh, if you have a lot of kids, if you have a lot of daughters, or if you have a lot of kids, that means a lot of luck is going to come your way. He had a psychic validate this to him even more. And his spiritual experiences with faith and just how some things work out based on like what he went by with faith, with his decisions, always turned out good. And would save his life. So like, right, our life experiences can definitely instill a certain belief, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. And that totally reflects perhaps like the way that he's living, like he's continuing to smoke his cigarettes. And I know that his family would try to like intervention him and be like, hey, like we care about you. Can you not smoke anymore? Or can we da-da-da-da-da? But, like he believes that he's so lucky that, smoking cigarettes is fine. And with my growth and my perception now, and like with how open I am of different perspectives, I can't sit here and say that he's wrong because that's his belief system. So he's going to be right in that way. And he is still here. So, okay, if that's working for you, great.
Yeah.
And it's up to him if he wants to make an adjustment where he sees like he's wrong or like what's unhealthy for him, for himself or his family,
Yeah. And we all have to be responsible for updating our belief systems for ourselves, when it's correct for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a thing because you mentioned like our belief systems are formed by our experiences.
Totally.
And so oftentimes, we'll have a belief system and then we'll have these experiences that reinforce it and reinforce it and reinforce it. And then it might get to the point where we're so sick of being in that experience that we're like, okay, like this is up to me.
Yeah. And it takes a while to get there, because we're unaware that we're living with that belief system. Personally for me, my old belief system was that I was a horrible I was a horrible person. I wasn't a good family member. My family doesn't love me. My family will never accept me. My family hates me. So I believe that so much through my own experiences and experiencing them, like, with their own shit with me, I would just take that on as truth. And so I would just stay away. And I would just continue to be my bad self or whatever, because that's just what I believe. Like, so whatever, I would act in a really rebellious way. And until I became aware of my thoughts and things like that through the healing journey, it's crazy how things have shifted so dramatically, or there's little by little, but too dramatically. But here I am really seeing myself as a good person, as a really strong contributor of the family. But for me to step into that, I needed to believe that I was a good person. I really need to, and for me to be around family, because every single time when I was around family, that belief system would just like come up and I would shrink.
Yeah.
And I would just let them be right by the way that they treat me or whatever that was creating in my head. Like, I suck. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to be quiet. Let them think what they want to think, but I was still very small. I wasn't able to be myself until I looked at that belief and
over and over and over, like meditate and conversate every week for a fucking year. Like,
and she would see this,
diligent looking at this belief, like really, really working with it.
Yeah, and that's attached to my shames, right? Because there are some things that I could find evidence of how I was a bad or unhealthy, not present family member, right? And then it's like, okay, talking about it over and over and over again, forgiving myself and really identifying that as the biggest shame of mine and allowing myself to heal from that and creating a new belief and finding evidence of how that would support my new belief, right? Let's create these experiences would be evidence to really solidify this new belief that you would like to replace it with.
Yeah.
Because you can see that it's hurting you. Like it's just dimming your light. And I will tell you right now, it does not feel good not being able to be yourself. It feels so trapped and you feel like choked up. You feel bad as a person. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. So belief system, your perception of yourself.
Yeah.
Is so important.
It is. And some belief systems, when we go in to change them, or when we have the awareness that we even have a limiting belief, right? That's the first big thing is like, oh, this is a belief that isn't really helping me. Sometimes those beliefs take a lot of work, like this one that Quinn is sharing. This is something that she has been working with so much, right? And the transformation is so clear. And so this is like one of these really amazing examples. Other times we just get a hit and we're just like, oh, that old belief is dead. Here's the new belief. And it's instant. So it can happen like that too. It can happen both ways. And like, it just depends on like the depth of the belief and like how much, you know, pain is associated with it and how ready you are to really release it and change it and evolve it.
Yeah. And last night was the first time that I felt the most where I was like, wow, like since I've changed my own perception of who I am, it's showing how I'm showing up. And, you know, we're going through a family crisis right now where the family's getting together more stronger than ever. And last night I felt really seen by who I was last night. Like I felt the different perception of their shift. Of course, we don't have control over that, but the way that we perceive ourselves, it starts there and it will show up in the ways that you move throughout life.
Yeah.
Right. And it's up to them how they want to perceive you. But see, then you feel good. At the end of the day, you'll feel good because the way that you feel about you and feeling so strong in that, where it's like, no one can like mess with you. You know, they can say things. You'll maybe feel it. You're like observant of it, and then you're able to process it out.
Yeah.
Because you have collected so much evidence that, like for an example for me, I have collected so much evidence that I am a good person. I'm doing the work. I am so present. I am like so there for my family right now for a while now. Just the day-to-day things, and then like really with this family crisis. So it's like, hello, like I'm proud of myself.
New belief installed.
New belief installed.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah. So it's a lot, and so it's so worth it, you know. And I like what you said the other day. I was getting into this place where I was just kind of wondering when things were going to shift. I was like, I'm being so diligent with my work, shame work here, you know, and just allowing life to match with your frequency. It'll come. It'll come.
It'll come.
It will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to share my main like belief.
I was going to say, what is your limiting belief?
Uninstallment, reinstallment that I'm going through right now through my inner child work
Yeah.
that I've been on and loving, just changing my life to just like be with my inner child.
Yeah.
Really get to know her, really communicate with her, really listen to her. All of these things have helped me so much. And one of the belief systems that was harming me is that I felt like I needed to be doing something, creating something, producing something, figuring out the next thing, and being like so on my purpose and on my mission. And if I wasn't, then I was not a worthy human being. I wasn't a valuable human being. And so I have a core value though. I have a core value of flow. This is like the thing that is probably the most important for me to like really live out and to teach and to just be. And so there was a conflict there because you can't flow when you have all this pressure. And so the belief was really like this pressure to perform and the pressure to like push through and the pressure to like figure out and the pressure to be at the computer and create content, you know, all of that pressure. When working with my inner child and checking in with what she wants to do today and how she wants to be today, you know, she's so clear. She knows exactly what she wants to do. And it's none of that pressure shit. And so since I've been like, okay, well, we're not doing that then. We're just doing what you want to do. I'm in the most flowy, like meeting the correct people, working on exactly what wants to be worked on, but nothing more. Just like, okay, here's my task for the day, finishing it, being done with work, like letting it all go, really listening to my body, really having much more fun, having much more enjoyment, having much more pleasure. So it's just been a really beautiful shift.
Yeah, and what I'm witnessing from your life right now is that, right, what you perceive, you have adjusted your belief system and what you perceive like at yourself, about yourself. You've been receiving a lot.
Oh my God.
Would you say it matches that frequency?
Yes.
Flow and
Yes.
like that you are enough. You're doing enough. You know what I mean?
Just being is enough. Like that's the thing. And like when I'm relaxed and in the flow, I'm my best self. So then when I come into contact with new people, I can show up in like a bright, charged up way with nothing to prove, but just like, I'm here and this is my here-ness right now, is just being here. And who are you? And cool, let's connect.
Yeah.
And then like magic and miracles.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing also, like, because you're like, I just feel acceptance with that so much. And so like you're receiving like this experience of people accepting you as like who you are, because that's how you're showing up.
Yeah.
So like either they accept you or not, and you'll be able to see it because they'll just move accordingly. Their behaviors will show if they're in that space to really, really accept you and appreciate you for who you are. So I've been seeing that too.
Yes.
You
and,
know?
and if there is a lack of acceptance, that has nothing to do with me.
Yes,
you
can
know?
go on with,
And that's part of being in flow, is trusting that who is for you will be for you. They will see you, they will get you, they will want to flow with you. Who is not for you won't. And that's perfect. They're not for you. They're going to go flow with some others. And it's like nothing personal.
Yeah. Like, oh, what a subject, you know, what you perceive is what you receive. So if that was helpful to anyone, take that, put it somewhere where you can see, because then you're going to be challenged with seeing, okay, how am I perceiving this right now? Even a situation, right? Like, how am I perceiving this right now? And how does that mirror effect back to me?
Is it empowering? Is it an empowering perspective, or is it a disempowering perspective? That's a really good like checkpoint. And if it's a disempowering perspective, like, how can I shift this belief into being something that feels empowering?
Yeah. I want to give one last example, and this is something we heard from both ends of people that we've been with. Like, for an example, like, you're perceiving where you live is like, it sucks. It's negative. The people here suck. It's dirty. It's, you know, that's a perception.
Find community here.
Right? And
it's hearing that.
Yeah. And then I don't want to say it where it's like how you feel is not true. How you feel is not, we're not here to invalidate your experiences. It's something to look at though, right? Because again, with that perception of that,
you're going to get more evidence of that.
Yeah. And how is that a mirror effect of how you perceive yourself, right? People are mean, they suck. Is there something about you where you feel like you suck, right? Like, what are you telling yourself? How do you perceive yourself? Does that match of how you perceive where you live or this person, or like how you're being treated or whatnot, right? Like, can we look at ourselves and see what we would like to replace that with that feels more empowering?
Yeah. And
watch how you perceive other people and things and places, right? Yeah, I just want to bring that up.
Yeah,
like
being really mindful of the projections. Our projections, basically what we're saying about other people, what we're saying about places, what we're saying about everything outside of ourselves is information about how we are experiencing ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we can just like put the mirror up and really just look at what it is that we're saying as a reflection of what we're saying about ourselves or how we're experiencing ourselves, and then we work on those beliefs right there, and you take everyone else out of the picture, then everyone else starts to reflect the like higher version of yourself that you're now believing.
It's, man, yeah. So this is what we wish for you. We wish for self-reflection on how you project and how you receive outside things, mirroring them back to you, and being able to find a perception that is empowering and helpful, right? Like almost like a guiding place for you to go to when you feel like shit's not working out. That's our wish for you, like a perspective shift, a perception shift, a belief shift, so that you can experience some wins in your life, you know, like the flow, like, so you can experience flow and flow with us.
Yeah, and accept reality. That's the other thing. It's like you can accept reality and accept things as they are and not feel like you frantically need to change things all the time if you have an empowering belief system around it. And then you can flow with the isness of what is, you know, instead of against the current.
So we're saying it's possible because we live in it. We're experiencing it. That's why we're sharing this. And if you need extra support, again, we are changing our Meditating Conversation sessions to next week. We'll just do it.
Yeah.
By next Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have a workshop that's coming up on the 18th. It's called Unblocking Receiving. Hello. This so matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's coming up. selfloveexodus.com is where you can find us. And if you have any questions, just reach out. Reach out on our social media, Instagram, Facebook. We're there. Okay?
All right. See you,
Bye.
fam.
See ya. See ya. Bye.